Hello and welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Hallmark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today I thought we would have some fun in doing some backgrounds, using a few different techniques and ideas to try and give some texture and some lovely colours. Now, for doing a mask, you can measure down and mask it off with tape. And it's fine if you've got the tape that's easy to move off. However, I do struggle with that. So I tend to make my own mask and I will make it exactly the same size as the cardstock I'm going to use. And I use stitched rectangles and literally take a shape that you want. Now I want this to have a space at the bottom so I can put a sentiment. So I've cut mine exactly or taken out the inside piece exactly the size that I want. So you can have it larger, you can have it smaller, however you want. You just need to take a shape out of it. And then we are going to use some sponge daubers. And I'm going to use the colours, I'm going to use So Saffron, I'm going to use Smoky Slate, and I'm going to use Melon Mambo because I'm going to put a flower in the centre. So I'm going to use the poppies and I put the flower in the centre, and I cut this out of Melon Mambo, so hence that colour. We're going to start with the lightest colour first, and I'm going to use some masks. Now, these are the basic pattern decorative masks that you can find in the annual catalogue. They're very inexpensive and they're absolutely great fun to use. They give some great texture as well. So, sponge daubers. Let's get out some colours that are going to go with these. So, I've got the So Saffron, I've got the Melon Mambo, and I've got the grey. Okay, so I can put those out of the way. I've got a nice little holder that I got which stores all my sponge daubers, which is really good. So we're going to start with the So Saffron. I want the background to be fairly subtle. Now you can adhere this down. I find, as I've shown you before, that you literally, if you just hold it down carefully, you can quite easily go through on this. Now I'm just going to cover the whole thing with the Melon Mambo. Now you could use our sponge brayers if you wanted to, but obviously it's not as easy to hold it down, but we're literally just starting with a colour as a base and paying particular attention to the actual side of the frame, because that's the area where it's going to show through. So you want this sort of side as carefully sponged as you can. Now you can see I'm not spending a huge amount of time getting this absolutely perfect. You can do, but to be quite honest, all we're doing is just laying down some colour. So I'm trying to do this quickly so that my video doesn't go on forever and ever. I always try and keep my videos below half an hour, although sometimes if I'm colouring and things, they sometimes just sort of creep over it. But okay, so that's the first sort of colour that we're taking. Then we are going to take the mask and we're going to use the Smoky Slate. Now I love Smoky Slate because it's a really nice sort of subtle colour, and I'm literally just going to make sure that my mask is exactly straight on there, and then just take the mask over the top and hold them both down. Again, if you want to tape it down, you can do. I'm not very keen on using tape because I do find that, as far as I'm aware, I find it difficult to lift it off, and that might be because, as I've said to you before, my fingers aren't the greatest all the time, and yeah, I would hate to, when I've actually got to this stage, for it to tear. So I'm just going through all these little spaces, and you just literally work your way through. The sponge daubers are actually really good because with their sort of rounded ovaled top, you can get into all of these little sort of nooks and crannies and things, which is quite good. So I say, just work your way through on each one, and you can make it as light or as dark as you want. I'm going over first just in one sort of pass, and then I will have a look and see if I need to put some more on, which I might do. But Smoky Slate is a nice soft grey, and for backgrounds you can make them as busy as you want, but quite often I like them to be sort of fairly subtle. I don't want them to be too to stand out too much, because they are supposed to be background. So although you want them to be decorated, if you make them too bright or too intricate, they will spoil the focal point that you've got on this. So I'm just making sure that I've got it through on the pieces that I want, and I think that's about right. So we'll take it off, and now you've got this lovely sort of pattern going in through on there. And then we want to finish it off with the Melon Mambo to tone in, and it will, against the So Saffron, it'll give a slightly sort of orangey look, but I think it will tone in quite nicely, and this will make the edges pop out just a little bit more. If I show you as it is now, you can see it's quite pretty, but the edges aren't standing out as much as I'd like them. So we're just going to take this, ink it up in the Melon Mambo, and then just sort of start at the edge and just sort of blend it through. And again, you can make it as dark as you want. I always say, if you start light, because you can always add more on if you want to. So I'm starting fairly light, and then I will add some more in as I want, making sure my corners are well done first, because your corner pieces you want to have more than in the others. And then, as I say, up on the edge pieces you can give it just quite a line. You can do it round in little circular bits, it really doesn't matter. And if it slides, literally just stick it back on again, because it's exactly the size that you want. So I'm just making sure that I've gone round as much as I want, and to be quite honest, I do want it quite bright round those edge pieces, so I'm going round a few times. And then, very similar to when we're using our blends, what I would do now is to go back with the So Saffron and just blend that very edge part in just slightly. So let's move that out of the way so we can see. So just on these little bits in here, not right up to the edge, but just in where they go through on to the edge part. If you just blend through, it will take those colours quite nicely. Okay, so I think that's about right. Let's have a little look and see how that's turned out. Yes, now you see that is really rather nice. You've got the outside edge with the melon mambo, and then you've got this lovely pattern going through, so that when we then put our flower in on the centre, it gives a really beautiful just background for it. Now, sentiment at the bottom, I hadn't thought about that bit, so let's have a look and see what sentiments I've got. I think I'm going to have I've got Enjoy Life out at the moment, so there's always sentiments in most of the stamp sets, so I could have Thank You Kindly, or I could have Love You. I think Love You's quite nice, actually. I might do that because that's quite a nice swirly sort of font. Let me see if I can find that one. Here we go. Is that Love You or is that Thank You? It's quite difficult sometimes to see upside down. That's Love You. I need to start learning to read upside down. Now, I don't think I want to do it in... Do I want to do it in black or do I want to do it in... Right, let's put it down this way. Photopolymers, always a good idea to just put them down, let them relax and then pick them up. I think that's lovely. Do I want it in black or do I want it... I think I'm going to have it in Melon Mambo just to pick it up a little bit. So let's take the Melon Mambo. Ink that up nicely. Try and line it up with the grid. And then I'm going to have it down there in the centre like that. Oh yes, that's nice. I love the way the swirl sort of comes just into the picture just a little bit. So I think that that will work beautifully. Then we just need to put our flower in on the centre like that, which I'm going to put up with dimensionals. And then we can have a look and see what background we're going to use. I always have a whole sort of selection of little backgrounds and things that I've already cut, and various projects and things that are going on. I've got black, which I think might just pop it completely, which is what I really want to do. So if we put it in on black, yes, that'll look lovely. And then we'll put this in the centre. I probably should have had the words in black if I'm doing black. The other would be Melon Mambo, and I have got a piece of Melon Mambo here. This is me fiddling around, and that might just work a little bit better. So the black would be nice if I'd done the words in black. And that's going to be, oh yes, no, that's going to be perfect. So Melon Mambo words, and that makes for an absolutely beautiful background. Very sort of subtle, but it really pops the poppy. Now the poppy is Poppy Moment dies, and these you can create some absolutely lovely standalone poppies and flowers. And you have, if I show you, you've got the inside and outside of the poppy, which is the one that we chose. You've got a smaller poppy, you've got leaves, and you've got a lovely sort of cutout as well. So it's one that's worth getting. I've been using it a lot and will still use it more. So again, pretty card. I will leave all the details down below over to my shop so you can have a look. So thank you so much for watching me. As always, stay safe, stay well, and look forward to seeing you soon. Bye bye.